I think you should be putting time into your, every day to engage. And it doesn't have to be a big block of time. It's good to do it around when you post, but you want to show up, and you want to show up to the people that are following you, to the people you're following, but also people who aren't following you yet.
If you've been interested in trying to figure out how to use AI to speed up your marketing, in particular with your social media and your Instagram, you are in luck. Today, I interview a social media expert and a resilience thought leader, Blair Kaplan Venables, all about how she is teaching her students to scale their business with AI. Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy and the host of the Thrive by Design podcast. I help jewelry business owners launch, grow, and scale successful multiple six, and seven-figure businesses using my methodology called the Desired Brand Effect. Me and my coaches are here to support you, and I'm really excited to have one of my coaches, Blair Kaplan Venables, on the show today. She is going to be teaching 2 sessions in our Train Your Customers to Buy From You Online program, which is starting soon. So if you're interested in learning more about that, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/TYC. I'll share a little bit more about it at the end of the episode. Now, Blair, as I mentioned, is a publicity and social media expert. She started her business at the young age of 23. Now, 15 years later, has started a new project called the Global Resilience Project, where she is supporting people in being resilient after tragedy. And because she is such a wealth of knowledge, she is a student of AI and is just learning as they go and using it for her own business to actually grow engagement, likes, leads, and followers. She's coming in today to share with you how to use AI tools like ChatGPT and tools like you're already using like Canva to make content creation so much easier, especially when it comes to the social media platforms. All right, so let's dive in to this episode with Blair. Today on the show, I'm so excited to have my dear friend, Blair Kaplan Venables. She is a social media, what are you, educator, I guess is the best way to put it?
You can say expert,
social media expert, and a resilience expert, because she does a lot of things. And she's just plain good fun. So welcome, Blair.
Well, hello.
Hello. Blair just did a training for us in our Supercharge Your Online Sales Challenge. She is also one of our educators in our Train Your Customers to Buy From You Online program. And I asked Blair to come on here because, first of all, when I asked her at the last minute to help me support me in our AI training for the social media, like I had a plan of things that I was going to do. And then I'm like, I want someone who's actually been doing this a while to come in and share a little bit more. And the trick that she showed us was like literally so insane. Everyone's like, can you show me that again? And so I'm really excited to talk to Blair today a little bit about how AI and social media are working together these days, and how you, as someone who started a business, not necessarily to become a professional marketer, but you've having to adopt that skill because that's part of running a business, can speed up your marketing, especially when it comes to social media. All right, are we cool? We're going to talk about this?
Oh my God, yes, let's do it.
Okay, so yeah. I know you because we're in a business group together, and from the second I saw you, we were just like reminiscing about our first encounter as friends. We had like, Blair's just hilarious, and she's just one of those people that like walks into a room and is like everyone's best friend immediately. So, but my listeners don't know who you are. So why don't you share a little bit more about who you are and why you're awesome?
Well, you set the stage there. When you asked me this question, I immediately want to start rapping to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song, but I'm not going to do that. I'm a social media expert, resilience thought leader. I started my business, Blair Kaplan Communications, when I was 23 at the beginning of the recession in 2008, and I specialize in public relations. I like to say that because when I started my business, I left my job with Lululemon Athletica, and I just wanted to run my own business, and social media marketing wasn't a thing. It wasn't a profession. It wasn't like even really a skill. But while growing my PR business and I was networking, people would just ask me like, do you know how to use this thing called social media for PR? Do you know how to use Facebook for marketing? And I always just said yes. And what I did was I took what I knew about public relations and applied it to the digital space, because there was no courses like this. There were no podcasts. Podcasts weren't even, maybe they were a thing, but I didn't know.
They were kind of a thing, but it was like the beginning of podcasting at that time.
Yeah. Like, what did I know? I was 23. My priorities were a lot different. I was not listening to podcasts, but there was no there was no one mentoring. There were no YouTube videos. So I took what I knew and I applied it to the social media space. And since then I've been an innovator incubator, and that's over 15 years ago. So that's a little bit about my business. It's, I basically help people tell their stories on social media and help businesses and entrepreneurs be thought leaders and leading experts. And, I also love traveling and camping and live shows. And luckily I met, Tracy doing all of those things, not camping. We were in a nice hotel.
We were not
but
camping because I don't camp. I
yeah.
don't even really glamp, but
Yeah.
it's a joke.
Oh, it's funny. I
Like
love
I'm not
camping,
going on
but
that Salmon River trip.
I would have, but I had an event I was supposed to be at, but that event ended up getting canceled. And anyways, the Emmys strike is really putting a wrench in my plans.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, but that's a
Wait,
whole story for
what were
another
you supposed to
time.
do?
So, the Global Resilience Project. So, I really believe
That's
in
right.
philanthropy, and
Mm.
so I started something called the Global Resilience Project, and it's a community and safe space for people to share stories of resilience. And we do this through our podcast, Radical
Mhm.
Resilience, publish books. I'm a motivational speaker. We have dark humor merchandise like shirts and hats, and we are invited to an Emmys gifting lounge. So it's
Oh,
a
awesome.
private party for media and celebrities. So it's been postponed to when the Emmys happen again. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
a little,
what's happening? Are all
anyways.
the actors on strike right now? Are we not going to have any movies next year? What's going on?
Oh, I don't really actually have that answer. I feel like
Stressful.
there's going to be a lot of reality TV, that's for sure.
Okay, so I want to ask you another question that's totally off topic, but we were talking about it before. What are you binge watching right now? Because we were talking about good shows.
Oh, okay. So my sister was telling me about the show, and she made me promise to wait until I'm with her. We live in different cities and we're really close. And it's called The Other Two. And it's it's old, and it's on, I don't know what it's on, but she puts it on. It's on one of the streaming networks. And it is so funny. It like must have flown under the radar. Molly Shannon's in
Mhm.
it. It's about this little boy, the young boy, who becomes famous, kind of like a Justin Bieber style, and his two older siblings, the other two. And it's just hilarious. Like I'm laughing out loud. It is so ridiculous. I think it's really brilliant. Like I'm binging it. So I try to only like binge one show at a time. So I get through them pretty fast. But so that's my current binge. Like I've in a couple days did season 1. So pretty proud
Okay,
of myself.
cool. So I am watching Hijack, which I think is so good. I'm about 3 or 4 episodes in, and I just finished Daisy Jones. I can't say this. Daisy
Oh,
Jones and the Six.
so
So
good.
good.
So good.
So good.
So good.
And then I also, it was starting to get really annoying towards the end, but I watched the 4 seasons of Succession all in a row.
Oh, I haven't watched that one yet, but I should.
It's
The
good. I
problem.
mean, I lived in New York for so long, and so like I'm sitting there watching where everything's filmed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was across the street from where I used to live. Like
Oh,
it's
that's
funny
so
to see how
funny.
they stage things. So, I mean, this really has
You
nothing to do with AI and social media, but it's fun.
but it does, because you know what? Like pop culture is very relevant when it comes to marketing. And it's interesting that you say that. Like I try to do all my binging in the winter because I live in Canada and it's snowy
There's
and
nothing to
cold.
do.
So like, well, there's skiing, but that's outside. So I do a lot more binging. But it's funny because there's shows I haven't watched. Like Game of Thrones. I haven't seen any Game of Thrones
You
binge.
haven't? You must
No,
watch that. That is
I will.
amazing.
It's on the list. It's on the
That
list.
could last you a whole year
Yeah. I mean,
with
like
how
I'm
many
gonna
seasons there are.
right. I have a list. I have a lot to do. I have a lot. I mean, I also like, I try to like mix up. Like, I'm really into documentaries. Like, I just got a notification from Netflix. There's a documentary about how to start a cult. Like, I love
Oh,
cult documentaries, rock star
how to
autobiographies,
start a cult.
biographies.
I got to
I
take a
think it's
look
some.
at this.
I think I just yeah. Like, I'm just
What
looking at
is
my
it?
phone
Is it
now.
about? I think it might be about Teal Swan.
I don't really know. Oh, I deleted it. But oh no, here it is. Netflix. I love when they email me. How to become a cult leader. Look inside the cult leader's playbook for achieving unconditional love, endless devotion, and the power to control people's minds. I mean, like, I'm not doing this for any sort of research, but like, I'm fascinated by cults. In fact, that Nexium cult, the one that my
Oh
my
yeah,
friend
that was
Sarah.
crazy. That
So
Nexium thing.
I'm friends with Sarah. She's from Vancouver, and she's the one who was one of the whistleblowers. And in my early 20s in Vancouver, she invited me to like an info session for
Mm,
Nexium. And if I wasn't a poor 23-year-old, I would have been a part of it because it started, it was personal and professional development. But I
mhm.
love stuff like this. Like, I mean, I'm fascinated by the psychology behind it. And you know what? I think this ties nicely into social media because,
Yeah.
none of us want to be cult leaders, but we want to build a loyal following.
Yeah. And there is a borderline because like, some of these people who are being called cult leaders are actually doing some of them are doing good in the world, not the Nexium
Yeah.
thing. That was
No,
crazy.
no, no.
But, you know, and it's always, I always talk about this too, because I do a lot of healing and I've been involved in a lot of communities where there's a lot of vulnerability happening. And it seems like if it's not run well, there always seems to be some sort of implosion or some guru that is like taking advantage of the students. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So you got to
Yeah,
keep
it's tricky.
I know.
It's tricky. I
We
think
are
like
so off
there's
topic, but it's
yeah.
good.
Well, no, we're not. I think it has to do exactly with social media. I mean, social media is a place where you build thought leadership and
Yes.
you want to be seen as that expert and that thought leader. And I think this is a good bridge into that and how AI is a tool to help you do that.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Why is AI so important right now in social media? Because I think, all of us could use the time saving that AI can bring, but I'm going to ask
Right.
you this question.
Yeah, so this is my opinion. So generative AI, Gen AI, is the type of AI that makes words, images, videos. Chat GPT is the AI that I am the most familiar with, and I use tools like Canva. I use them together. And it's not a new technology. Like AI has been around for a very, very,
Mhm.
very long time, but it's now a hot topic. And all the big tech companies and big companies are racing to use AI as tools to enhance what they're offering. And it's so important because it's an emerging technology. It's a technology that's already here. And as more and more companies, tools, software systems implement different AI aspects, if you don't keep up with what those tools are, you're going to fall behind. You're going to fall behind your
Mhm.
competitors. You're going to be spending more time than your competitors doing, monotonous tasks. And what you want to do is be a thought leader and be ahead of the curve. So you want to be on top of what the emerging technologies are.
Right. What's really fascinating is I think we didn't even realize like how powerful AI is. I remember being in 2018 at something at Baby Bathwater, the group that we're both in, listening to a presentation about SEO and search when it comes to AI. And the fascinating thing about it is that everyone was putting Alexas into their home, right? And having saying
Mhm.
like, Alexa, order me groceries. Alexa, play this. And it starts to see your behaviors and your patterns and it's listening to you. And then you start getting served ads, and people are like, how am I? I was just thinking about teeth whitening. How am I getting an ad for teeth whitening? Which it's crazy how AI powered innovation can really like cater to helping you not only find products that you want, but also serve you ads and help support your business and all these things at the same time.
Yeah, like it's a blessing and a curse, but I figured I'm going to use it to my advantage. Like even
Oh,
your
yeah.
phone's listening, and I really wanted to like buy some sequence jackets, and I just decided animal print. Yeah, it's because of an ad on Instagram because I kept saying to my phone, sequence jackets, sparkly jackets, and I started getting ads. And then I chose one I liked, and then it followed me around that specific one, and then I eventually bought it. Like I hate shopping. If I can do the shopping, like if I can tell the phone what I'm looking for or Alexa, and it shows me ads for things I might like it's like having a personal shopper, but a lot cheaper.
Yeah, no, I don't, it doesn't bother me. I'm fascinated by it. It's just
Yeah,
really interesting to see how it all works. So if you're listening to
yeah,
this and you've been talking about how you want to grow your jewelry business, you're probably going to get ads from Flourish and Thrive Academy,
amazing.
which is pretty funny, and also great. So let's talk about some of the ways, I'd love to get some like tangible ways to use AI with your social media marketing and your planning and all the things that you're doing.
So there are tons of tools out there to do different things, but I like to focus on Chat GPT. I was using something like Jasper, which is a similar tool, but Chat
Mhm.
GPT is a tool that I find really helpful, easy to navigate, especially when you have an expert teaching you how to do it.
Mhm.
And, there's so many different things you can do when it comes to using these tools, but it's all about prompts. It's all about asking it exactly what you want and in as much detail as possible. So, basically, you know how sometimes we're on a website and a chat box pops up and it's like,
Mhm.
"Hi, I'm Sally. How can I help you today?" And you're having a chat with it. That's exactly what Chat GPT is. You're essentially having a conversation with AI. And so what you're doing is you're going to assign it a role. So pretend you are a copywriter. We need copy. Copy is words. That's what you need to go with, on your social media. It can't just be images and videos. And so pretend you sign it a role and you are a copywriter. And then you tell it what you need. I need 30 social media posts to promote my sandwich shop, or to promote my diamond rings. And then what you do is you ask it to ask you questions. What do you need to know about my business in order to give me the best content? And then it'll ask you questions, and then you answer those questions, and then it'll give you copy. And that's a very high level way to do it. But you essentially want to have a conversation with this software.
Mhm.
So
Awesome.
you want to, yeah. So assign it a role and ask it questions and ask it to ask you questions.
So what are some of the ways that you're using ChatGPT and tools like Canva to create content for social media?
Okay, so I'll just like give one quick example because there's so many different ways to do it. But I am someone who likes to motivate people. So the Global Resilience Project, so on Instagram at Global Resilience Community, we put out motivational sayings and quotes. And so what I do is I generate that list using prompts in ChatGPT. Then I save it in a spreadsheet and then I upload it to Canva. And Canva has something called a bulk creator where I upload a spreadsheet into Canva and I follow a couple steps. And with a couple clicks of a button, I generate a batch of quotes instead of me having to individually like copy and paste it into each, square graphic.
That's so great. I love it. What are some of the other ways?
There's different tools and plugins and stuff that you could use. But even if you have nothing, you just have the free version of ChatGPT, you can actually have it give you not just social media copy, but also image direction or creative direction for what type of images to use.
Oh,
And
I
this is
like
really
that.
helpful. Yeah. So this is really helpful, like for people who maybe are planning to do a photo shoot. So maybe what I recommend is if you have I mean, even if you don't have the budget and you have a smartphone, you can do this yourself. You can very much piece it together. I like to invest in a photo shoot once or twice a year for my social. And so what you could do is you can create the copy ahead of time, like 90 days worth of social media content. You give ChatGPT the prompts to create the copy about what you're trying to promote, and you ask it to give you like in a chart or in a spreadsheet, provide me the suggestions for the type of images to use. So what you can do is it will create the posts for you and images associate the image direction should be for the images associated with it, and then you can use that for what type of photos to take.
Ooh, I love that.
There's probably millions of ways to use this. So I'm just, we only have a certain amount of time here. Another thing that's really important, it's a bit more advanced, is reverse engineering.
Okay.
And so pretend you're writing blog posts, which you should be doing,
Hmm.
and newsletters. What you can do is you can actually use social media to reverse engineer either your best converting blog post or newsletter. So you can ask it to reverse engineer yours or maybe a competitor's to break down like what's the tone of voice, what are the hooks, what are the calls to action, and there's
Oh,
specific things that you can ask it for. And then what you do is you reverse engineer the reverse engineer and you plug in your own information. So without showing a demo, it's kind of convoluted, but it's,
yeah.
if I have a newsletter and the tone is happy and the call to action is like join the academy and whatnot, what I can do is then say, okay, I want you to write a newsletter and these, follow this criteria. And I take that template that was reverse engineered from the converting posts and I
Hmm.
plug in my own business's information. And then it creates something using that formula for me.
Oh, cool. So wait, I love that. I never even thought of that.
I learned that through baby bathwater.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So,
I,
so, so reverse engineering is brilliant.
yeah.
It's yeah, so it's great because there are formulas, there's ways to write things. There's a whole psychology behind it. My like I guess my like beige flag is that like I'm a great writer, but I don't follow any formula. I just write whatever I want.
Yeah.
But there are formulas for you to follow so that you convert, which
Well,
we should
yeah.
all follow.
I
But
mean, that is true. I think one of the things that people don't realize is your social media post needs to have some sort of hook or something that's going to stop people in their tracks. And if it's just like available on my website and there's nothing that's engaging about the copy, it can create a problem. And I see
right.
this happening a lot with jewelry business owners because they don't really know what to write. And so they get stuck and they're like, I don't know what to write. So I'm just going to like talk about the piece. And it ends up like they're wondering why they're not getting engagement on their social media. And that becomes a problem.
Yeah, and I think like the other thing is with social media, you want to tell stories. You don't want to sell products. You want to sell it. You want to tell stories and sell an experience. And we aren't all writers. So
Hmm.
Chat GPT can be that writer for us, but I don't recommend you put a bunch of prompts in and copy and paste what it gives you. And,
Oh, no.
you always want to edit it, refine it, make it yours, remove some emojis, add some emojis, like make sure it's your brand's tone of voice. But essentially over time, AI should pick up on the tone of voice of you, but like it's not perfect. And it's going to be trial and error like anything. You need to do A/B testing. You need to test it out. Like maybe you have a newsletter you write and a newsletter that you have ChatGPT write, and you split your lists and you send them both out and see what gets more opens. Maybe you're testing different subject lines or the preview text. But like anything, it's going to be testing and then using that data to make decisions.
Yep. Okay, so I know what your favorite tool is to plug into ChatGPT because I was just on a training with you and I'm also using it. But let's talk about aiprm. What is it and why is it a powerful tool?
So it's a free plugin, meaning you go to the website, you like upload it to your computer, and it like automatically, basically what it does is it automatically enhances your ChatGPT. There's also a paid version. I never recommend paying if there's a free version, unless you utilize the free version and know you need the paid version. Like, let's save some money. Let's bootstrap like a badass. Like, I'm all about that. And so what I love is that because AI works solely on prompts, what it is, it's like an organized prompt directory where you get to choose what you're doing, the tone of voice, and any other details that you might need. And so it sets up what it's going to put out for you. So it might have a marketing calendar. You might have a 30-day marketing calendar with graphic prompts and copy. It might be for search engine optimization. It might be blog post writing. It could be product descriptions. And I haven't had a chance to look through every single prompt because I haven't, and I don't know if I ever will. I just use it like when I'm going to use it, I play around with it. But instead of guessing, like I just said at the beginning, you are a copywriter. Can you give me this, 25 posts about this? What do you need from me? It makes it a faster process and it makes it you get a more precise output.
Okay. I love that. It's great. Well, you mentioned something about like planning content. Like how would you use ChatGPT?
To like plan content or to get, what do you mean? Like,
so like content ideas.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. Like, maybe you are a copywriter. I have a jeweler business. I specialize in creating West Coast nature inspired jewelry. List me out 50 ideas for the type of social media posts I could write about.
I love that.
And then you could use what you want from it. Like for LinkedIn, like I'm a resilience thought leader and I'd like to create LinkedIn posts. List me 10 different topics about resilience that I can create social media content from. And then it'll list me 10. And if I like them, then what I can do is I can copy and paste. Like the first one might be like resilience in children. And then I might say, okay, write a 300 words social media post based on this topic and include XYZ. And then it does.
So I love that. I use it a lot for ideation. I think it's super helpful, like for research and ideation when it comes to coming up with content ideas and getting those things organized. So I feel like we came out with a lot of things. You can use it to, I'm going to reverse engineer what we said and say it backwards, maybe.
Okay.
Or in some sort of order. So one of the ideas is you can use it for content planning and creation. So ask for a list of ideas or topics that you can write or create social media content around. You can use it for, you didn't specifically say this, but I know that this is partially what you meant, like creating quotes or quote research. So if you have your own quotes, you can put them in a spreadsheet, or you can ask it to research quotes that are related to your brand and then upload that to Canva and do bulk generator. Am I getting this right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Let's keep going. You can ask it creative direction for images. So if you're wondering like what images to pair with copy on your post, and then you can also use it for just straight up copywriting.
And like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And one little bonus is we're not having a chance to talk about this and I'm not an expert, but there's tools out there like Midjourney, which generate images. So you can even take it a bit further where if you're not doing a photo shoot, but maybe you want to generate a bunch of AI images, you can actually have it give you the prompts to plug into Midjourney to generate images to go with your posts.
Wait, so this came up and I kind of made up the answer and I'm not totally sure, but can you use Midjourney to put jewelry on like a Midjourney avatar? Like,
I
AI?
don't know. I mean, maybe, but like there's so many AI like image and video generators out there that like maybe you can do it in Canva, or maybe you generate it and then you upload it into Canva and then you just like put the jewelry on in Canva. Like
Oh yeah,
I'm not a
like make
graphic
the
designer.
image and then like add the
Yeah.
jewelry on. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
Like
it.
I mean, I'm a bootstrapper. Like I don't know. Like I like collaging, so it'd be like a collage, I guess. But I mean, there might be
Are
a
you
way to
really
do that. And if
collaging? I can like decoupage. You're like,
decoupage, I mean, I do. I mean, my phone, the back of my phone's my vision board. It's a collage.
oh, I love that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm out of it now. I got a lot of notifications happening, but yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Is that your vision board?
Yes, my vision board. I've so
I'm
far
gonna
ticked
do
off
that.
the. My sister told me to do it, so I did it, and I like
I'm
it.
gonna start doing it.
I've some of these things I've ticked off, and some of them I have not.
I'm gonna do that later. Although it's embarrassing if there's something on there that you don't want someone to really know is on your vision board, but they see it.
Who care? But who cares?
Yeah, I guess. So like why is it important to keep staying up to date? Is it because it's changing so quickly, or like what's your take on that?
Yeah, social media marketing, PR, like the tools available to us and how to use them are changing very fast. The basic principles don't change. It's build a connection and tell
Yeah.
stories. But how to do
Mm,
that is always advancing. And so you can try and be ahead of it. You can, be in the front of the curve, like on top, or you can fall behind.
mhm.
Your choice.
This is the last thing that you just said. I want to like dig into that a little bit more because I think people forget that social media platforms are a place to be social and have a conversation with people,
Hmm.
not to talk at them, not to necessarily just like post and ghost. Where do you think people are making mistakes when it comes to that?
Oh, they're posting and not doing anything else. Like, yeah, great, make a post, but what I like to say is like every time you show up on social media, which is like engagement, commenting, liking, following, posting, posting to your story, posting to
Yeah.
your feed, answering people's polls, whatever you're doing, every time you show up, you're planting seeds. And those seeds eventually turn into leads. Like it's kind of like a tap on the shoulder. It's like,
Leads
hey,
to
here's
leads.
Blair. Seeds to leads. That's basically it. Like, so if you want people to know who you are, you got to show up, right? Like if it's like at a party, right? If
Mhm.
you're like, okay, there's people there I want to meet, I maybe like they might become my friends, or maybe they'll become like, they'll buy my product. But if you don't show up to the party, they might not know about you. But if you show up to the party and stand in the corner of the room, some people might see you. But maybe you show up to the party and you have a bowl of chips and you're walking around.
Or you
More
wear a
people,
sparkly jacket that you bought on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah. Or you wear a sparkly jacket you bought on Instagram, and 2 years later end up on a podcast. Who knows? But it's your choice. I mean, I think you should be putting time into your, every day to engage. And it doesn't have to be a big block of time. It's good to do it around when you post, but you want to show up, and you want to show up to the people that are following you, to the people you're following, but also people who aren't following you yet.
Mhm. This is true. Wow.
Mhm.
This is great. Well, we're really excited to have you teach in our Train Your Customers to Buy From You online program.
I'm very excited to teach. Like, as you can see, I am very passionate. And, at the beginning, when you're like, are you a social media educator? I specialize in social media education and strategy implementation. Like, this is definitely a huge passion of mine. But you know what else is? Jewelry. In fact, my dad was a gemologist and a
That's
diamond
so
dealer.
cool.
Yeah, like it's just been a big part of my life. Like I love jewelry and I love this whole world. So it's kind of cool that I get to do this.
It's so great. So before we go, so as I mentioned, Blair is going to be teaching 2 sessions in our Train Your Customers to Buy From You online program. We get started on August 15th with the kickoff of this orientation and the entire program. Blair is so kick-ass. I'm so excited to have her teach our community. She's going to be teaching, I'm stumbling over my words. I'm so excited. She's going to be teaching AI and social media. And she's also going to be teaching how to use social media to grow your leads and email lists so that you can make more sales, which I think is the main goal of social media. So I'm super excited to have her training in this. So if you want to learn more about that, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/TYC. But more importantly, Blair, I know that you have some final words of advice for people. What are they before we go?
Oh, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to throw a bunch of shit at the wall and hope it sticks. You have courses like this, you have experts like us to help you build a business and make money. So do it.
Yeah, exactly. Where can everyone find you?
Well, my Instagram is Blair from Blairland. I'm very active there. And my website's blairkaplan.ca.
Awesome. Thanks, Blair. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for watching this episode today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If the answer is heck yes, make sure that you subscribe to our channel, that you like this video, and share it with your friends. Also, share with me your key takeaway in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. Plus, if you would like to scale your online sales, add an additional 5 to 15K a month to your website sales, and train your customers to buy from you online, we are here for it. Our 12-week workshop is happening soon, and it is designed to help you 10x your website traffic and 3x your online sales by leveraging multiple sales channels, by increasing your return customer rate and increasing your average order value so that you are making more across the board. So if that sounds good and you would like to learn a little bit more about how Olka had one of her best months in history just by using one of the strategies, she sold out of one of her products literally in a week, or how someone like Alex Kathleen sold 150 units in just a weekend, then let's chat. Head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/TYC and get your application in today. Ciao for now.